Hi, it's Donna-Marie here. A question that I get asked about a lot is what to do when you've got a small business but your family and friends aren't supportive of you. Now, this is quite common. In fact, it's a little bit sad, but it is quite common. So if you're in this position, don't feel alone. And it doesn't mean that you need to give up either. Now, I can relate to this very well because when I first started my business, I was working for Parks and Wildlife Service. Loved my job. I loved working with wildlife. I was a single mum with a very young son, and most people that I spoke to couldn't understand why I was giving up my job. Now, working for Parks and Wildlife Service, it's a government job, quite secure, regular income, regular hours of work, paid holidays, paid leave. It was pretty good. And look, don't get me wrong, I loved that job, I really did. But part of me, there was, always this little part of me that wanted to go out on my own. I'd had a part-time business since I was 18, and I'd really wanted to have my own business. But more than anything, my son needed me more. I was working long hours. I was having to leave home very early because I was travelling a long way to and from work. So he was going to daycare at 6:30 in the morning. I was dropping him off, and I was picking him up just before they closed. Then he started school when he was 5, and he was really struggling. He needed his mum around a lot more. So that's what was the crunch for me. I decided that it was now or never. I needed to start my own business where I could work more flexible hours and where I could work from home. So I did my planning and I knew what I was doing, but those closest to me tried to talk me out of it. And I understand why. I mean, it was a bit of a crazy decision, I know that. And I understand that they were just trying to protect me. They wanted the best for me. They didn't want to see me get hurt. They didn't want to see me give up a stable job and end up on welfare, a single mum on welfare, not being able to afford her bills and that sort of thing. And quite often, that's what is motivating those people who aren't supportive of you. It's not that they don't think you're worth it, it's not that they don't think you're capable, it's just that they're a little bit scared of what the outcome might be. Now, especially if you're investing a lot of money in your business, or even just a little bit of money, if you're at risk of losing financially, then they're probably going to be even more protective, especially if that's shared money. Like perhaps if you've got a spouse and it's your combined savings that you're investing, then I can understand they'd be a little bit scared. So always keep that in mind first and foremost. The next thing is listen to what they're saying, by all means. Sometimes they may have some good points. Maybe you haven't thought it through quite well enough, and it's always worth taking their suggestions on board and thinking about it and thinking, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I am putting my money up too quickly. Maybe I need to do a little more research on this first. And go ahead and do that research or do whatever it is that you feel you might need to do. The next thing is to ask them why they don't think you should be doing this business. Is it because you don't have the skills? Well, maybe you don't, but maybe you don't need them. Maybe you're setting up a bakery and you're hiring bakers and you're hiring staff to look after the customers and you're hiring a bookkeeper and you're going to be doing the basic business management. You don't need to know how to bake a cake to open a bakery. It does help to sort of know the basics and to trust the baker who's working for you. But, these are things that you need to take into consideration. At the end of the day, if you are confident that you've got what it takes, then it's up to you to decide whether or not you really want to do this. And if you don't have the support of family and friends, which I must say it really helps, it makes it a lot easier if you do, but if you don't, find other people who will support you. Maybe there are some friends who support you or some relatives, in which case stick to those and spend more time with those than the ones telling you you can't do it. If you're really struggling to find people who are supportive, find business groups and online forums and even Facebook groups and join them, and you'll find that often members are supportive of each other, and quite often other members of those groups will be going through the same sort of dilemmas with having family and friends who aren't supporting them. So make sure that you make your own decisions for the right reasons. Sometimes those family and friends, they'll turn around later and they'll be your biggest fans once they see that everything's okay. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes your business might fail, and that's okay too. You know, you learn by your mistake. Everything's not going to be rosy 100% of the time. So if it fails, but you take responsibility for that, okay? And let the people around you know that it may not work out, but you're prepared to take that risk anyway if you decide to go ahead with it. And find your support elsewhere. Find people who will give you a pat on the back or help you out when you need it. And you need to be able to switch off from what the unsupportive family and friends are saying to you. Remember, if you like this video and you haven't already subscribed for updates, do so now. Do that at Donna-Marie-Coggins.com, and by subscribing to updates, we'll send you an email every time there's a new video posted with more tips for you on how to design a profitable business that fits your lifestyle.